Morning Watch, which is brought to you this morning by Chris and Charles Investment. When you think loans, think Chris and Charles Investment.
Dear, from the Christmas season start, we notice you wearing Chris clothes, house painted looking Chris, plus you're driving a Chris car.
Kerry, you know what says Chris and Charles may get a loan from. Now I'm looking Chris for the Christmas.
Borrow $1 million and get 30% off your processing fees in less than $25,000 monthly. No guarantor needed. Be Chris for the Christmas with Chris and Charles. Call 876-920-4189 or WhatsApp 876-838-9028. Conditions apply. When you think loans, think Chris and Charles.
Listeners to Love 101 FM are advised that the views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Love 101 FM.
Hello and welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Special welcome to our listeners on love101.org. And if you're overseas and on the move, U.S. listeners can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you're in the UK, 0330-332-6541. Or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us on Love 101 FM Facebook and YouTube Live. In the first watch today, child health care, gone to the dogs. And in the second watch, flu season is here again. What if you catch it? For our social media question, we ask, what's your go-to flu or cold remedy? What's your go-to flu or cold remedy? Please share your responses on our Love 101 FM Facebook page and the YouTube channel, and also on WhatsApp 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your responses later on in the program, but before all of that, here's our quote.
And our I quote this morning is an integrity quote. When wealth is lost, nothing is lost. When health is lost, something is lost. When character is lost, all is lost.
Yeah.
That one there from Billy
there.
Graham, yes.
Billy Graham,
yes.
Yeah, very profound. Good morning, Deidre.
Good morning. How are you this morning, Dr. Toussaint?
I am doing well, and you?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, speaking about lost, we are still in the football season. Has your team lost as yet?
My team didn't actually make it to the World Cup, sadly.
That's so. That's which team?
Jamaica.
That's good. That's patriotic of you.
Yes.
That's good. All right, so continue to follow the World Cup. But apart from Jamaica, which other team is your team, DJ?
I would go with Brazil because they have the same colors.
There we go. Jamaica and Brazil. All right. The first one to be back after this break.
You work hard to make Jamaica a first-class destination. Isn't it time you receive the 5-star benefits? Retire smarter with the Tourism Workers Pension Scheme, a portable plan that also provides your family with financial security in case of your untimely death. It's easy, affordable, and accessible online. Retire and relax with the Tourism Workers Pension Scheme. Visit twps.myguardiangroup.com or call 876-927-4105. Guardian Life. Live secure. Live easy.
Get buckets of savings from Sherwin-Williams from November 24 to December 21. 12% off decorative paint, 10% off automotive paint. Purchase 5 gallons of paint and get a Fleetwood paintbrush free. 6 to 9 gallons and get 2 Fleetwood paintbrushes free. And over 10 gallons and get a paint roller set absolutely free. Get buckets of savings from Sherwin-Williams from November 24 to December 21. Available at all Sherwin-Williams paint stores. Conditions apply.
It's the Answers and Simplicity Black Friday and pre-Christmas sale. Get 20, 25, 30, 40, up to 50% off when you select your discount at Answers Gifts and Home. Answers for Children and Simplicity. Select your discount and get fantastic deals this Black Friday and wonderful gifts for Christmas in all our stores. It's the Answers and Simplicity Black Friday pre-Christmas sale. Now on until December 10.
It's coming! Saturday, November 26th. It's Rejoice 2022. Presented by the Emmanuel Music Ministry. It's Rejoice 2022. Featuring the Emmanuel Mass Choir, the Youth Choir, the Speech Choir, God's Handiwork, and the EAC Dance Ministry. And a special guest, Petra K. Don't miss this one-of-a-kind worship experience. It's Rejoice 2022. Hosted by Bishop T. and the Emmanuel Apostolic Church, 12 Slide Road, Kingston. Saturday, November 26th at 6:30 p.m. Contribution, 700 pre-sold, 1,000 at the gate. Tickets available at ESC Slide Road, ESC Portmore, and Music Mart. That's Rejoice 2022, November 26th at 6:30 p.m. Come for the experience. Come rejoice for your blessing. For more information, call 876-948-3221. That's 876-948-3221. Come rejoice.
Let's give ourselves the best gift yet. Great mobile and internet. Value the whole year long. Gotta know the best to get. Flow has savings just for you. If great Christmas gifts, it's true. Samsung tablet for my boo. Our moments together with Flow Yard and Road, it's better. This Christmas, Flow gives the best to you.
With Yard and Road, get a Samsung tablet or a phone for just $999 plus GCT.
Flow gives the best to you.
Conditions apply.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Now, the dogs have been let out and they're heading to the Bustamante Hospital for Children. The Ministry of Health and Wellness will this Christmas season be introducing the Animal Assisted Recovery and Care Program, that's AARC, as a pilot. And would you believe it that the brand ambassador is Dr. Teddy Bark, which interestingly is a dog. Yeah, a dog, like woof woof. Well, to discuss this program and the related issues, we have joining us so far Joey Brown, curator at the Hope Zoo. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for having me.
Yes, good to have you, Mr. Brown. And we are hoping to be joined by another guest, and we're trying to link up with her momentarily. Good to have you with us. Now, Mr. Brown, can you explain how animals can reportedly assist in providing therapy for the sick?
Yeah. So there's many people who maybe already have dogs and have a love for dogs. They know the nice joy and comfort having dogs and various pets can bring to your life. But over the last several decades, this goes into the even 1900s, there's been actually lots of scientific research that shows having these dogs and various other called companion animals can actually help improve mood, reduce depression, reduce blood pressure, help with stress and anxiety. And it's they've actually done scientific studies that show it can produce the production of endorphins and helps with the release of various chemicals that can help with euphoria and various kind of painkillers almost. And it's simple as basically doing visits to, let's say, the hospital and spending a little bit of time with these patients that are possibly stuck in the hospital for a certain amount of time, usually isolated from family and other friends. And so these dogs or these other animals can bring comfort and a bit of joy to their time there, and it possibly, in the end, help with the recovery time.
Yes. The animal we're hearing in the background.
Yeah, sorry. That's my That's my bird Bubbles. He's a
caw. A bird?
Yeah, it's a big parrot, a blue caw.
Let's get into the discussion.
Yeah, he's trying to chime in.
Okay, so is it that there are certain types of animals that are used more so in that regard, and certain types of sicknesses?
Yeah, so I'd say definitely dogs are the most common, but they have shown that various animals, for instance, some of the more common ones are rabbits, cats, and actually even horses can have a lot of these medical benefits and mental benefits as well to patients and people as well. And so there's obviously dogs have some amazing, besides therapy, when it comes to exercise service dogs have some amazing kind of senses where they can be trained to assist elderly people or blind people, obviously. And then there's even dogs that are trained to work with people with epilepsy. They can actually almost predict when the seizures are about to come on, and they can warn and that's not a whole other thing. But with the therapy thing, is if you go to a lot, especially in the United States or around the world, I'd say almost the majority of hospitals have at least one therapy dog that do like routine visits to the hospital. And I think it's directed towards the patients. That's on the other end. It brings just as much joy and kind of comfort to a lot of these doctors and healthcare workers that are working endless hours and high stress level jobs. And I know I've talked to numerous nurses and doctors. They said one of their favorite days is when the therapy animal shows up that day. It's just a fun day for all.
Okay, I understand that Ms. Pamela Lawson is now on, Managing Director of the Jamaica Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. Good morning, Ms. Lawson.
Good morning. Good morning to you and your listeners.
Yes, good to have you. Of course, Mr. Joey Brown is on the other end.
Yes, I've been listening to Joy, yes.
Right, good. So what does this initiative mean for your organization, Ms. Lawson?
Well, we're also part of the pilot project. We support it heavily. It means so much. We've always known the benefits of what animals can do for whether it be children, adults, it doesn't matter, especially the elderly as well. We've always known the benefits. We've seen it ourselves. We see it every day. The amount of times we've had to help people, especially the elderly, we've seen it a lot. Well, a lot of people not realize in Jamaica that without their pets, when they get sick or there's a problem and we've had to pick them up, I mean, it's almost traumatic. They will tell you this is their companionship, this is their protection, this is they comfort them. So to us, it's a great initiative. When we introduced it, when the minister actually was bringing it to our attention, saying he wanted to do such a thing, it was who could say no? We can only see the benefits. And maybe now we can actually look at doing something about our laws and how we deal with our animals. I know we always say bring new laws in, bring more laws in. We have to amend our laws, whether we like it or not. Who's going to carry them out, though? Who's going to ensure that they're enforced? But it needs to be done because at the moment our laws don't give any protection. Our laws are antiquated. They're ancient. They date back over 100 and 200 years old,
Yes.
So with the society, JSPC finds a very positive move. It can only benefit not only our organization and people say only a small sector of society, but it will make a difference to this nation. We've got to find more compassion.
So is it that I'm assuming some of the animals that you have there will be used in this project? Is that so?
That is correct. I mean, we have done, little minor runs. Joey Brown will tell you, we've had our little days out at Children's Hospital. When we did the dry run, the children loved it, but not only the children, even the staff. The staff had a field day. They enjoyed it. Everybody was taking pictures, having fun. They enjoyed it. How can you not benefit?
Yes. We're actually up on a break where we're going to hold those thoughts. We'll be right back.
Get better coverage for yourself and your family as low as $800 a month. The time by JN Life Vest from JN Life Insurance is
7:15 and a half.
Black Friday Mega Madness. Black Friday Mega Madness. We have never had a sale this big. Get ready, Jamaica. This one is massive. November 25 to 27 at Home and Things. It's the Black Friday Mega Madness weekend at Home and Things. Every single item in store is 30 to 70% off. This Friday only. And catch the Saturday and Sunday specials too. Black Friday Mega Madness weekend is on at Home and Things. All Hope Road and Constant Spring Road. It's a Mega Madness weekend.
Christmas here, are you ready? Burgess colors I'm choosing. Paint a home you'll adore, get prizes galore. Shopping in a Burgess Wonderland.
Win an 8-day Caribbean cruise, gift vouchers, save 15% and more when you purchase 2 gallons or more of Burgess paints at any color shop or participating hardwares. For entry details, visit BurgessPaintsCaribbean.com today. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Burgess, the lasting beauty and protection.
Suzuki, I give you something nice for the Christmas. Something nice for the Christmas. Suzuki, I give you something nice for the Christmas. Celebrate the festive season with a brand new Suzuki XL7 or Vitara and enjoy the gift of huge savings. Get 5 years warranty, $400,000 cash back, 2 years free servicing, 1 year Amber Tracker, and free tinting with every purchase. So from now until December 31, forget about Santa and come get yourself something nice for the Christmas from Suzuki. Only at Stewart's Automotive Group, South Camp Road, Kingston, and Iron Shore Bay. Conditions apply.
They're full of life. You're full of love. They're carefree. You care more. That's why we created Child Protector, a critical illness insurance plan from Sagicor Life. It provides coverage for your child in the event of 15 critical illnesses, hospitalization benefits, life insurance, and investment benefits. So make sure your child can live life to the fullest. Apply for Sagicor Child Protector today.
Get registered for City and Guilds Math and English this year. Our qualifications are for everyone. Register now for exams in June 2023 and gain worldwide employment opportunities. We're endorsed in Jamaica by the Ministry of Education and Youth, JDF, JCF, UCJ, and the Heart Trust NSTA. Or Stage 3 Math and English are accepted in over 21 local universities and colleges. Call the City and Guilds Caribbean Rep office at 924-7808 or 7804. Email us at jamaica@cityandguilds.com to register now. Registration closes January 2023. City and Guilds, believe you can.
Whether it's a Saturday soup or a comfort meal, a great soup stash to make you feel complete. Spice up your pot at home, or you can link soup before soup on the go. Chicken noodle, pumpkin, and cock noodle make you feel better. Taste tradition in a spoonful. Grey soup make every day greater. One sip, me last in the flavor. Grey soup make every day greater. One sip, me last in the flavor.
Grace, celebrating 100 years of taste that moves you.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint, and in this, the first watch, we continue to be looking at this whole matter of child health care gone to the dogs in a positive way. And in so doing, we have online Mr. Joey Brown, curator at the Hope Zoo, and Ms. Pamela Lawson, managing director of Jamaica Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. Before the break, Ms. Lawson, you were telling us about how the children enjoyed it and the staff at Bustamante with the trial run.
Yes, it was just I'm sure Joe is, when his earlier part of his interview was explaining how much pressure it releases from staff. Just that interaction, just the act of stroking an animal, it's been proven by scientists that it lowers blood pressure, it brings down all that stress level. And it does. It is highly recommended to have an animal to help you deal with stress, hypertension, things like that.
Yes.
Positive.
Yeah. Mr. Brown, okay, let's go down to the nuts and bolts now of this initiative. Can you walk us through how the animal assisted and care project will work on a daily basis. Is it that, I mean, we know about, is it Dr. Bark, all right?
Yeah,
will he be the only one involved in it? Is it that children will have time to come and they line up and cuddle the dogs? I mean, give us an idea how this will work out.
Yeah, so Teddy, who's kind of the golden retriever everyone's seen, he's kind of going to be our face and kind of ambassador for the program. But we are planning to have eventually have multiple other dogs involved. You know, some kittens, some other rabbits. We have we're going to have a select certain animals from both the Hope Zoo and JSCCA that will be specifically picked out and kind of chosen for this program. It's a very controlled and designed kind of the whole art program itself. You know, we started planning for this nearly a year ago. We put together some of the best experts in the country just so we do this program right. You know, we have.
So where will animals be? Really?
So they'll be, you know, they're cared for.
At Bustamante, where at Bustamante's compound will they be?
Well, so they don't stay there full time. So they'll stay, you know, we bring them to Bustamante on the days that we'll do these sessions. And we did a kind of a site visit. We have a picked out kind of courtyard area. And that's where when we come, let's say we're coming on a Tuesday afternoon, we'll be there from 1 to 4 p.m. And then even previously before that, we'll have certain patients that are, you know, obviously evaluated, picked out, you know, parental release forms and questionnaires are filled out beforehand. And then, you know, we pretty much come there with our whole team of, you know, animal caretakers. And then the kids kind of line up and they get to spend a few hours hanging out with the animals that day. And, you know, we have obviously the JSPCA, we have Montego Bay Animal Haven, we have top vets and doctors from the Ministry of Agricultural PSD, from the Ministry of Health, and obviously all the top leading doctors at Bustamante. And so all of us are involved. We've put together various, you know, health protocols for people, animal behavior protocols, obviously for the animals, patient evaluation forms. And so it's kind of starting off, the initiative is going to be probably several visits a month to the hospital where we bring the animals to the hospital, and then the patients get to come and hang out with the animals for that time period.
So they'll be able to interact with all the animals at a given time per day?
Yes. Yeah. So what we did with our kind of soft launch or kind of practice run, you could say, is we had various kind of stations set up. And so, like, let's say I would be at one station with Teddy, the dog. You know, we'd have another station with a couple of rabbits, another station, you know, with a couple kittens. And the kids and the staff can take their turns as they choose, going from station to station and spending some time with various animals. And you know, just from a couple of practice runs, you know, it's complete. It's like all smiles and joy the whole time. And, you know, and we have to kind of rotate people through, and, you know, the kids, and no one ever wants to leave because they're having such a good time. And even, you know, you get some kids that obviously come in with a predisposed, you know, fear of maybe dogs or animals coming into it. But once you ease your way into it and you give them, you know, 10, 15 minutes, they have a big old smile on their face and they don't want to leave.
Miss Lawson, now a hospital is the sickest place in the world, right? What are your concerns, Miss Lawson, in that regard? And I'm talking now specifically of the risk of infectious transmissions from patient to animal and animal to patient.
Well, in anything, yes, it can always be a risk of zoonosis, or what condition that is transferred from man to animal or vice versa. But I mean, all these animals that are being introduced into Bustamante Hospital, they've all undergone vigorous testing. They're maintained, they're fully immunized, etc. In actual fact, yes, we do worry about if there's certain things, but the hospital is making sure that these are neither the children or the animals are at risk. It doesn't benefit anybody to have this happen. And, you know, we're not running still like what is done in the US and the UK, etc., where the animals actually go to the patient's rooms, etc. This is soft. We're trying to introduce it. It's a different culture for us, so we're unfamiliar with it. I think you're going to find that I think you're going to find it's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah,
It really
but,
will.
but if you're going to have the touching, I mean, a child touches the dog, next child comes and touches the dog. Easily
So
can
you're
have
saying transference from one child to another to another.
Right.
But these children, there's no way that the hospital would expose any child to each other. They have school. They have school in Bustamante. They mix. They're not, all of them are not just prisoners in their own world. So there's always a risk. Of course there is.
Yeah.
But it's minimal. These children are checked for any issues that they may have, just like our animals are. We have to maintain the highest level of hygiene, and we do. We make sure that there's sanitization for their children, things like that. And it is hard because when you see them hugging them, you can say, oh, that's how they got it. But these animals are checked rigorously and tested.
Okay. So Mr. Brown, is there anything to do with insurance and all of that? What if some bizarre incident happens? A dog bites a child, for example. What is it? What are the contingency plans in place for that?
Well, we're going to have kind of, the dogs, even before, like, for instance, Teddy or before any other dog coming in, it's going to go through an intensive kind of training process and many test runs before they even kind of enter the hospital to, pretty much make the chance of any type of bite happening nearly zero. And that's why these dogs are specifically chosen, because they're dogs that are, steps more ideal for this kind of therapy program. And we have we're going to have the whole, we're not just doing this to, let's see how people react, but there's going to be, post surveys, post evaluation forms to kind of evaluate how every session goes and then see how we can improve. And I think, everything is going to be kind of laid out. And I think the chances of a bite, obviously you can't say zero, but it's going to be nearly 0% of anything like that happening.
Yes, I'm happy you mentioned about the evaluation, because I was going to ask you as well. It's 18 months is the pilot project?
Yeah, that's just kind of going to be our start pilot kind of evaluation time. And we want to see, we're going to be doing evaluations every 6 months. And then at the 18 months, we want to kind of look at the actual results. Like, obviously, I think we're going to see, I think we're obviously going to see some very good kind of, behaviors and happy people. But we want to see the actual results and then probably improvement possibly on patients' recovery and possibly healing time.
Right, because I'm going to ask, how will the failure or success of the initiative be really ascertained? Is it that, there are no incidents? How do you measure that it is the interaction with the animals that would have helped in the recovery of the child? How is all of that going to be done, if you follow me?
So we'll have various, because even the patients and the parents and even the staff are going to fill out kind of forms beforehand, different questionnaires, so we can get like possibly even their feelings and stuff toward the animal. So we kind of have a baseline to start with. Okay. And then they'll do it after each session, and even like, a week or two after sessions. And often what you see with these programs is the doctors and staff, they notice whether the patient, was usually lonely and depressed. They start becoming more, outgoing. They have it, they're a bit more happy throughout the day. Maybe it's a patient that's normally very isolated. They start communicating more and have a more uplifted attitude. And so that's the type of stuff we want to see. That's, your mind and your body's all connected. So if these people, if we're getting these kids from being, not so depressed and a bit more happy, I think their healing and recovery time is going to kind of see that as well. So, any type of positive benefits from this is going to help with both the patients and the staff.
Great. Ms. Lawson, you have the final word, 1 minute. Any final thoughts you want to leave with the listeners?
Well, like Jerry says, I think, when we go through our assessment process throughout the 18 months, I think you're going to see where even the hospital is going to show positive improvement in many of these children. Quite a few of these children are also long-term patients. this is going to make a huge difference to their life. I'm confident of the matter. How can it not? It's proven.
Yeah.
It's already been proven in the one visit we made with one or two children in particular.
Wow. Great. I'm looking forward to it as well. And all the best to both of you and the organizations you represent.
Thank you very much.
And in 18 months' time, we'll call upon you to hear about the success, all right?
Most definitely.
Okay, have a good day.
All right, take care.
Listeners, the Morning Watch will return in just a moment.
It is now 7:30 and you're inside the Morning Watch, brought to you today by Chris and Charles. When you think loans, think Chris and Charles Investments.
All the citizens of Portmore, come stand in solidarity as we join together at the Climate Change Park, Portmore, for the Night of Hope for Portmore on Sunday, the 27th of November, 4:30 p.m. under the theme End Violence, Build Peace. All must come out for the parade with hundreds of scouts and cadets, with the 6 marching bands moving from the Hart Academy and the Edgewater Roundabout to the Climate Change Park. Guest speaker Bishop R.J. Edwards. Let's stand together and say no to violence as we embrace peace.
It's almost Christmas, and Phosphate is inviting you to Christmas in November Super Sale. November 21 to December 1. Enjoy massive discounts on lighting, chandeliers, wall lamps, electrical plugs, wires, conduits, and so much more in Kingston, Mandeville, and Montego Bay. Christmas come early, and we'll be unwrapping massive discounts of up to 60% off. It's Christmas in November Super Sale. November 21 to December 1. Only at Phosphate.
Seniors, the Ministry of Labor and Social Security is advising that the November 2022 payment under the Social Pension Program is now available for collection. Check your text messages to confirm your payment arrangements. For further information, call 876-922-8007. The Social Pension Program, caring for our elderly. A message from the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, providing opportunity, stability, and social protection.
Let's give ourselves the best gift yet. Great mobile and internet. Value the whole year long. Gotta know the best to get. Flow has savings just for you. Give great Christmas gifts, it's true. Samsung tablet from Abu. Our moments together with Flow. Gotta know it's better. This Christmas, Flow gives the best to you.
With Yard and Road, get a Samsung tablet or a phone for just $999 plus GCT.
Flow gives the best to you.
Conditions apply.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's now join DJ for a look at how our Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp friends answer today's question. What's your go-to flu or cold remedy? Ready for us, DJ?
Yes, we are ready. So we have Jules saying garlic, 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 as tea in honey, as pill on food in everything. Hyacinth says, good morning. My flu remedy is Pharmacold and flu. Jackie says her flu remedy is good old bushes, garlic and ginger. That's what I grew up on. And then Nikki from Patrick City is saying thyme tea mixed with honey is very good.
That's it?
Yes, that's it.
All right, garlic and honey, and what else again, DJ?
And thyme tea.
Thyme tea?
Yes.
Not sure I know what that is.
Well, I think it's actual thyme that we like the seasoning.
Oh, thyme. Okay,
Thyme
okay.
tea, yes.
Get it now. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And thanks to those who responded. All right, now as we segue into the second watch. From COVID to cold or flu or a sinus infection. If it's not one thing, it's the other. October, November through to March, and even as late as May, is usually considered flu season. As we go into the Yuletide season, nobody wants to be fighting a cold or the flu. So what shall we do? What shall we do? Well, to discuss these matters, we have joined us online so far Dr. Donovan White, medical practitioner and alternative health specialist. And we are hoped to be joined by a medicine physician in a short while. Okay, Dr. Donovan White, welcome.
Yes, morning.
Right, good to have you with us this morning again. Long time I haven't spoken to you on this program, eh?
Well, COVID has caused a certain level of silence on my part. I don't know why.
Tell you. It's good to have you again, Doc. All right. Yes. What's the difference, Doc, between a cold and a flu?
You tell me.
I am not an expert.
Well, there's no expertise where that is concerned. A cold is usually when there's a stuffy nose and a cough, usually not necessarily associated with a fever. But a flu gives you pretty much the same symptoms, but usually there's a fever involved as well.
So the major difference is the flu, is the fever, sorry.
Well, the fever is what makes the difference.
Uh-huh.
Most times a cold is just a cough, cold, stuffy nose, running nose. And it is really of no significance other than, but the fever tends to be a little bit more devastating for most people.
Right. So can you have the fever and not have flu?
Yes, you can have a fever for many different reasons, but you don't necessarily have to have flu-like symptoms with a fever. You can have a fever for any kind of infection, not necessarily a viral infection. You can have a fever based on a bacterial infection.
Yes. And why, Doc, is this time of the year regarded as flu season?
All right. The colder months, usually November, December, January, usually means that your immune system becomes compromised because your immune system is not as effective in the colder times. So at that time, people tend to have more likely to have flu-like symptoms.
Yeah.
So to call it a flu season is really an advertising gimmick as opposed to fact.
Right. I understand that we now have online Dr. Shanae Miller, sports medicine physician, public health specialist, currently interning with the CDC, founder and lead physician of telehealth. Good morning to you, Doc.
Good morning, Dr. Toussaint. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for, having Dr. White online as well. I look forward to having this general discussion about the flu season with you all. Good morning, listeners, as well.
Right. Right. Good to have you, Dr. Shanae Miller. Now, you're a sports medicine physician. How does that impact? How does the flu season generally impact persons your patients?
So apart from sports medicine, I also do general practice. So I tend to see a lot of patients coming into the private offices with flu symptoms now during, the end of the year colder time, as Doc mentioned earlier. And he would have given the reason for that. Outside of that, with athletes as well, a lot of them tend to get the flu virus around this time, and we have to treat. So in terms of the cases are actually on the rise during this time of the year, not only for the general population, but for other persons who are seemingly well, very fit and athletic, but they're still getting the flu. And it's simply because, the virus is there. A lot of persons may not necessarily be doing all the precautionary measures in terms of masking, physical distancing, ensuring that they sneeze into their elbows and throwing away tissues after use and staying home when ill. So that's a general thing that I'm seeing now in terms of the cases being on the rise for both sectors, in terms of both sports medicine patients and general patients that I see in offices.
Yes. Earlier I had asked Dr. White the difference between the cold and the flu. We are still in COVID season. How do we differentiate that? How do we know that it's a cold or a flu vis-a-vis whether it is COVID that is really the situation?
And that's a very good question because both will present the same. Both are viral infections affecting the upper airway. And so the symptoms will be rather similar, but as a clinician, the things that we look out for is one, like the onset of COVID tends to be a little bit more insidious, like it takes place over a number of days. The incubation period for COVID is actually much longer. So it can be up to about 14 days that you can have the virus and not show any symptoms versus the flu, which is quite dramatic. So you might be exposed to someone today and within 2 to 4 days, you're actually showing symptoms. So the symptoms are pretty similar, but the timeline in terms of the onset of symptoms and how dramatic it is, it tends to be a little bit more dramatic at the start for the flu.
So what should one do in a case like that? Because you know Jamaicans are ready and home remedies first, and we're going to talk more about that. But what if it's COVID that they really have?
Right. So with both upper respiratory illnesses, whether it be COVID being the cause or the flu virus being the other cause, one needs to self-isolate, ensure that you're not interacting with other persons who may not be showing symptoms, because then you're putting them at risk of getting either viruses. So self-isolation, ensuring that you're not touching your face and, you're actually staying at home and monitoring the symptoms, especially the fever. Along with that, the home remedies are good, but again, you want to treat the specific symptoms. So if it's a cough, you want to take your antidepressants in terms of your over-the-counters. You might start with that. And likewise, if you have a runny nose, stuffiness, you might want to take your BPH and your analgesics, such as your Panadol, but also ensuring that you reach out to a general physician or any other medical personnel who can guide you in terms of how to take these medications so that you're not taking too much at any particular time. One of the things is that a lot of people might overdose on Panadol, not knowing that there's the possibility of being exposed to Panadol toxicity, and that can actually damage the liver. So again, staying at home, resting, hydrating, treating the symptoms, but also reaching out to medical personnel if you're not seeing that the symptoms are abating.
Yeah. Dr. Donovan White, you're a medical practitioner, but you're also an alternative health specialist. What's your take on that?
Well, frankly, I've not heard much of what Dr. Miller said because her voice is extremely low.
Oh, we're sorry about that.
What was the question she was answering?
Pardon me?
What was the question she was answering?
Right. The question was about well, first of all, the difference between the COVID and the flu and the cold, and then how we treat with them, that we might be treating with cold and flu when it's COVID, and the home remedies that people tend to use first. That's where I want you now to come in. Your concerns there.
All right. Well, first of all, COVID is a discussion that I don't like to get into because COVID, as far as I'm concerned, is a big hoax. Okay. Anybody who has had any kind of upper respiratory tract infection for the past 2 years, they were diagnosed as COVID until a PCR test showed otherwise. And a PCR test is not enough indication of any particular virus. So far, there has not been any demarcation for a COVID virus. So as to why we're calling diseases COVID is another story. But basically, the body reacts in the same way to many different symptoms. Upper respiratory tract reactions are usually the body's way of cleansing itself of toxins that appear in the body, and it uses the lung as a primary exit route. So technically, to ease the symptoms, if that's the objective of treatment, there are many natural remedies that can be used. Garlic, very, very common, very natural antibiotic, antifungal, antiviral agent. Ginger, pepper, all of those are wonderful agents to get the flu-like symptoms out of the way. So if all you're trying to do is to reduce a fever, people use things like a hot stove. That's a nice way to do it. Stoves, whether it be Dragon, Guinness, what have you. They use Jamaicans have a way of using a hot stove because it helps to sweat a lot more. And in sweating a lot more, you tend to get rid of the fever quickly. Some people tell you, oh, you have a hot fever, go into a cold shower. That's a simple way to get rid of a fever. But the fever is not your problem. The fever is the body's way of trying to pasteurize itself. It's the body's way of treating the problem. So we interfering just for the sake of getting rid of the fever to me is a waste of time.
Okay. Speaking about time, Dr. White, we're up on a break. Hold that thought, please. We'll be right back.
Sure.
Talk to Jane Bank today to find out about achieving your own sweet home in 30 days. The time by Jane Bank Mortgage is
7:45.
How can budgeting help you manage your financial health? One of the major keys to a budget and maintaining your financial health is to stick to your budgeted expenses, regardless of whether you start making more money or bringing in more income. You should definitely be saving more if you are earning more. This financial literacy tip was brought to you by Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy.
It's coming! Saturday, November 26th. It's Rejoice 2022. Presented by the Emmanuel Music Ministry. It's Rejoice 2022. Featuring the Emmanuel Mass Choir, the Youth Choir, the Speech Choir, God's Handiwork, and the EAC Dance Ministry. And a special guest, Petra K. Don't miss this one-of-a-kind worship experience. It's Rejoice 2022. Hosted by Bishop T. at the Emmanuel Apostolic Church, 12 Life Road, Kingston. Saturday, November 26th at 6:30 p.m. Contribution 700 pre-sold, 1,000 at the gate. Tickets available at EAC Life Road, EAC Portmore, and Music Mart. That's Rejoice 2022, November 26th at 6:30 p.m. Come for the experience. Come rejoice for your blessing. For more information, call 876-948-3221. That's 876-948-3221. Come rejoice.
You know, it really tests my patience when I'm trying to do business and have to submit the same personal information over and over again. Now, my OneJN passport experience allows me to breeze through when I do business with the Jamaica National Group. I just have to submit my current personal information one time and bam, I'm recognized at any JN company through my OneJN passport experience. Now that is convenience. Go to jngroup.com/OneJN passport today and sign up. JN will help you find a way.
We're gonna spread the Christmas cheese.
The Christmas holiday is a wonderful season, and Sagicor Bank has the key to even more happiness with an incredible mortgage offer that will make you sing.
Christmas is a time for celebration.
This Christmas, experience the joy of a mortgage that gives you a competitive interest rate, special rate on home insurance, and up to $2 million line of credit. Get your key to a wonderful Christmas with a mortgage from Sagicor Bank. Conditions apply.
It's excitingly, deliciously, and tangiliciously good for you. For a better future, we need kids who will take action, kids who will help others, kids who will always be ready to do good for the world. Tang believes in preparing kids for the future. With over 11 exciting flavors, Tang with vitamin C gives you value as each pack yields 2 delicious liters. Prepare a great future with Tang.
Whether it's a Saturday soup or a comfort meal, a great soup sachet make you feel complete. Spice up your pot at home, or you can link soup before soup on the go. Chicken noodle, pumpkin and cock noodle make you feel better. Taste tradition in a spoonful. Great soup make every day greater. One sip me last in the flavor. Great soup make every day greater. One sip me last in the flavor.
Grace, celebrating 100 years of taste that moves you.
From generation to generation, Jamaicans have depended on JN Bank to make the pride and joy of providing a safe place for their families possible. Now, with no processing fees and no down payment mortgage options, you can open the door to your own sweet home, a legacy to hand to your next generation. Visit jnbank.com to get pre-approved today. JN Bank will help you find a way.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. And in this, the second watch, after that long break, it's not only flu season, but Christmas season, we have online to discuss this whole matter of the flu season and the cold and other related issues. We have online Dr. Donovan White, medical practitioner and alternative health specialist, as well as Dr. Shanae Miller, sports medicine physician, public health specialist, currently interning with the CDC, and the founder and lead physician of telehealth. Before the break, Dr. White, you were explaining to us some home remedies.
Yeah, man. I just gave you some simple home remedies. Of course, Jamaican rum and lime cures anything, especially when it comes down to upper respiratory tract illnesses.
Rum and lime, how is that done?
Lime.
I'm very interested in knowing that as a pastor. What you talking about here? Rum and lime. Wait.
I said,
that worked out, that?
In which that was given. Juice the lime and you add a little rum to it. I mean, ask any average Jamaican driver what happens when the rain falls, and he finds himself in a bar, and that's what he's having. A little rum will junk the virus as far as he's concerned and get the problem out of the way.
It doesn't junk the person.
Well, that's part of the fun.
Okay. Continue, sir. Continue. Dragon, Guinness, and rum and lime. Continue. That's what we're into this discussion. Yeah, anything else, Doc?
If you want to get into more specialist type of herbs, there are herbs like echinacea, which is very, very good in terms of getting the infections out.
So that again?
Echinacea.
Mm-hmm.
ECHINACEA. Echinacea.
Okay.
It's a natural antibiotic, literally. And of course, not to forget the good old-fashioned aloe vera, because the aloe vera actually is probably one of the few things that actually gets to the root cause of the problem, which is an accumulation of mucus that the body is excreting through the lung rather than through the feces. So the aloe vera actually gets the mucus out through the feces, so there's not an excess to go to the lung for excretion.
Interesting. Okay. Dr. Shanae Miller, I don't know if you want to add or delete anything that was said.
As that is not my area of forte, I'll leave it to Dr. White.
Okay.
But I'll add that taking a vitamin C is very important, especially to boost the immune system. So will it be in the form of natural foods like your oranges, your pineapples, your papayas, mangoes, grapes, all those fruits and vegetables. You can also take it in the form of supplements. And that will help to boost the immune system. And upon boosting the immune system, it will help the body to fight the virus. And
as you mentioned, supplements, Dr. Miller, are there not concerns about supplements now? Growing concerns?
Certainly, there are some concerns, but I know for the vitamin C supplements, those have been shown to work, and studies have supported that. So I still encourage my patients that if they're not able to get the natural foods, they can also just supplement the diet with extra over-the-counter reduction.
Synthetic stuff?
They work. Yes, I still support that. I'm not in the realm of alternative medicine, as I said before. So I am still a strong proponent of not only using your natural, herbs and all the other stuff. Well, I don't necessarily know the specific herbs that Doc had mentioned earlier, but I know that there are some natural foods that we can take, and I would have mentioned those earlier. And if you're not able to get those in your diet on a day-to-day basis, then the supplements in the form of vitamin C, capsules, those are fine. Those have been shown to, boost the immune system in a lot of studies.
Perhaps putting you on the spot again, Dr. Miller, but I don't think you had mentioned the flu shot, right? What's your take on that? And then I throw to Dr. White.
Great. So I actually wanted to mention that earlier that, getting the flu vaccine is actually a very good idea, especially for those persons who are immunocompromised, those with underlying medical conditions, and, persons who are in the medical field. The CDC actually recommends that anyone above the age of 6 months, including pregnant women, can get the flu shot once per year. And so I actually recommend that, all persons who are able to, you just go and get your flu vaccine once per year. That will actually limit the course of the disease in terms of the timeline, and also spare you from having like very severe outcomes that might be associated with it. So, I mean, similar to COVID-19, when a lot of persons might not have taken the vaccine and had like worse outcomes. It's the same thing with the flu. If you don't take the vaccine, there's a possibility that exists that you might have worse outcomes with that. And a lot of people are not aware that the flu can actually have you, having such bad outcomes that you end up in the hospital. So taking the
flu vaccine. When is the best time, though, Dr. Miller, to take that?
So prior to the start of the flu season, so back into like September thereabout would have been a good time. But now it's still a good time, even though we're actually in the colder climate time of the year. Persons can still go ahead and get their vaccine.
Are there not concerns with persons who would have been vaccinated for COVID and complications, possible complications?
I would not say that there are any major concerns. I have seen a lot of persons get the flu vaccine and they've been fine. They actually just get mild symptoms like the, sneezing, runny nose, stuffiness. Those are expected, but not necessarily getting very severe illness associated with the flu vaccine because it's an inactivated form of the virus. So it does not tend to lead to any severe illness.
Do I hear Dr. White chomping at the bits? Dr. White, flu vaccine, flu shot, your take.
But the flu shot is, as far as I'm concerned, it has proven to be a waste of time. People take it out of fear, and they figure that out of fear that if they don't get a flu, then they're fine. But a flu virus, according to the literature, there are so many different types of viruses that can be responsible for a flu. The last flu virus vaccine that was developed was developed based on a strain from 1968. Can you imagine that? So how effective can it be against a changing or mutating virus from that time until now? So in fact, it is a waste of time.
So the strain that they use, the same one from 1968, have they not the technology developed where they're using more current?
They try to add new things, but they cannot keep abreast of the changing viral landscape to be able to give you a predictive antiviral vaccine at this point in time. So as far as I'm concerned, it's literally a waste of time.
Stick up in there. Dr. Miller, is that your understanding?
I don't have that understanding, nor do I share that philosophy. So the flu virus that has been around.
I'm so sorry. Somebody's background is a bit noisy. I'm not sure. Can you help us with that, please? Yes. Go ahead, Dr. Miller.
Right. So I would say that that's not my understanding of it. Yes, the flu virus has been around for a long time and it has mutated. So each season you will expect to have some sort of mutation with the virus, and that is what the vaccine preempts. What sort of mutation based on the previous season, and they keep adding to that and giving the flu vaccine. So what your body is exposed to in the form of the vaccine is a lightened form of the virus. As I said before, it's inactivated, but it primes your body so that whenever you are exposed to the actual virus, then you are in a better position to go on the battlefield, essentially. So I don't think that it's a waste of time priming your body and preparing. They always say prevention is better than cure, right, Doc? So if prevention is better than cure, why not take the flu vaccine? And it's not to say that the flu vaccine is not going to, it's going to prevent you from getting the flu virus any at all, because it won't. That's actually a myth. But what the flu virus or in its inactivated form will do is prepare your body once you're exposed to have a better chance at fighting and being the winner of the virus.
Well, believe it or not, we have to leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Donovan White and Dr. Shanae Miller. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a safe and healthy day.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Have a
Okay,
good one.
thanks for having us. Okay.
Yeah, bless you.
Bye-bye.
All right, thank you, listeners, for being with us. For information or get copies of this program, call our production department at 876-968-9596-7. This has been the Morning Watch. Thanks to our producer, Kathy Gale, and our guests. Please join Mr. Stokely Marshall next week as he continues to look at the issues of the day. I am Dylan Toussaint, reminding you to be purposeful, faithful, thankful, and of course, watchful as I hand you back to Love in the Morning with DJ Parchment.
The Morning Watch was brought to you today by Chris and Charles Investment. When you think loans, think Chris and